What's up guys, Caleb aka Westlogo here, and today I'm going to be sharing my story of how I got my first design job as an art student dropout. I'm going to make this a two-part video series. This story is going to be of my journey of job hunting for my first job, and the next video would be what and what not to do when you're applying or hunting for jobs. I made a ton of mistakes during my job searching process, and hopefully I can better prepare you guys when it's your turn to hunt for design jobs after you graduate art school or design school. I also want to give you guys some recommended tips and habits you should be practicing when applying for jobs. If you find this video helpful or are new to the channel, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if you're an independent graphic designer who is in search for an informative and supportive graphic design community, I highly recommend you join my graphic design Discord server. Make sure to say hello so we can give you a proper welcoming. I'll leave a link in the description below for you guys. Without further ado, let's jump right into my experience of how I got my first design job as a college art student dropout. So this takes place as of last year around late August. The design school I was attending was the Art Institute of Phoenix. My game plan was to major in media animation and learn graphic design in my free time on YouTube and other tutorial sites, because I already had a background in learning graphic design off YouTube and other tutorial sites. I tried to learn 2D and 3D animation on YouTube, but it just wasn't as comprehensible as graphic design was. So I decided to dedicate my education to my weak spots and learn design along the way. I was in my senior year of my program at the time, and it's a 3-year program for a bachelor's degree at the Art Institute of Phoenix. I only had 3 quarters before graduating as well. During my fall break, I received an email from my college dean. The email stated that the school will no longer be accepting students onto the campus and that the campus will be shutting down as of late December.
So since early July, students have been hearing rumors that their school might be closing down, and then just this last Friday, it was confirmed. Students got this email letting them know that the Art Institute of Phoenix would be closing down for good.
It also goes on to say that I have 2 options. Since I was so close to graduating, I have the option of completing the rest of my courses online, or I can get complete loan forgiveness. That school really wanted to charge me the rest of my loans, which was $90,000 by the way. I figured I've been at the school 2 to 3 years and I've learned all I needed to learn to be a freelance or junior graphic designer. Shoot, I'm gonna erase that $90,000 debt. What you mean? Plus, if I had to learn online, I might as well learn off paid tutorial sites and YouTube websites like I've already been doing. Now, as I said, the email said that the school would be closing in December, and it was already August. So I only had 6 months to gather and build my portfolio work and build a website. If that wasn't bad enough, I had to stay enrolled with the school for 60 days before closing to be eligible for loan forgiveness. So I had to waste 4 to 8 hours of my day being present in useless classes. And by useless classes, I mean classes that weren't offering any more college credits. So time really wasn't on my side, and I had to make a lot of social and lifestyle sacrifices to make sure that I get everything I needed to get done and start job hunting. My first, I want to say, 200 jobs, I tried to freestyle it and do it myself. And I also tried to do it as quickly as possible. I figured one of these jobs are bound to like my work, right? Of those 200 jobs, 99% of those jobs either didn't respond to me or simply rejected me. And boy, was I in my feelings. The only 2 jobs that did reply to me and asked me to come in for an interview, I got beat out by other designers. So I asked myself, what am I doing wrong? And decided to start finally researching how to apply for jobs. During my research, I learned a lot of things and gained new insight of steps I should be taking to apply for jobs. More importantly, I also learned the things that I should not be doing that I was doing previously. I will make sure to share some of that insight and tips for you guys in part 2 of this video series. However, I do want to note one step in the job application process I found most challenging for me, and that was the cover letter. I could not succumb to the fact that I had to write 2 to 3 paragraphs for each company I applied for. I hate writing, so feeling comfortable with my old habits, I chose to just ignore that one step in the job application process and stuck with pre-made cover letters that were so obviously generic. And trust me, hiring managers, they get cover letters all the time. They can point out the generic ones for sure. So I was doing more harm than good by not stepping out of my comfort zone and not getting through the cover letter process. Now, over the next 50 or so jobs, I did get callbacks and potential interviews, but I just wasn't landing the job. So that's when I finally decided, okay, I need to change some habits of mine, including writing those awful cover letters. While applying to my next 50 jobs, I got an email back from another company I applied about from a month ago. Since it had been so long that I had applied, I had to jog some of my memory. So I went back to the Indeed job posting and I looked at the pay rate automatically. And for a junior graphic designer, I noticed that this was a high-paying job. So I decided I need to go all out for this interview. Now the company specializes in car wraps and car vinyls, and they particularly cater to fleet trucks and work trucks. And at the time, I only had one car wrap mock-up on my portfolio. So after doing some research, I took the initiative to make 2 car mock-ups to present for the interview. I made a car mock-up containing their brand name, and I made a mock-up of a real-world scenario and or clients they potentially could get in the future. The day of the interview, I printed out the car mock-ups on a glossy poster card-like quality mock-up. I put it in a laminated folder, and then I put that laminated folder in a plastic black folder. I know, it's extra as hell, but I was desperate. During the interview, the owner of the company, he was interviewing me, he told me that 112 other designers have applied for the same position I applied for, and they only selected 3 designers to come in for an interview. I was one of those 3, of course. The amount of sweat that was coming down my armpits at the time was ridiculous. Thank God I was in a suit. He went on to tell me that he will be giving me and the other 2 designers a fake brief, and we are going to have to compete to see who makes the best car wrap mock-up for this fake brief, and that's the person who gets the job position. Now for one, this was the furthest I've made it when applying for a job. And secondly, this was the first time I ever had to compete for an actual design job. I was so insecure and nervous, but out of desperation, I went for it. After we submitted our designs, I want to say about a week and a half after deadline, I got a call back and they tell me that they're the designer they want to proceed with for the full-time graphic design position. And I couldn't believe it. I was so happy and thankful to be able to get this job that I'm working at now. And it kind of made me reflect on my journey during the job hunting process. If there's anything I want you guys to know while you're applying for design jobs or jobs in general, it's that you're going to have to be patient and you're going to have to be persistent. You're also going to have to be willing to take rejection. Make sure you do your research first, and most importantly, do not ignore or skip over any vital steps of the job searching process that you feel uncomfortable with. For me, it took around 300 jobs before I got my first one over the course of 4 months of finding it. So what I'm telling you guys is to expect rejection, expect you not getting your first 25 jobs you applied to. It's normal and everyone goes through it. As long as you're persistent, there's going to be an opportunity out there for you somewhere. If I would have taken a break during the job search process, or if I would have just flat out given up hope, I would have missed this opportunity. I wouldn't be where I am today. So in the next video, I'm going to give you guys some insight on how you can find ways to make yourself stand out apart from your competition, because design is very competitive. I'm also going to be showing you how many portfolio pieces you should be having and how your website should be set up when applying for jobs. A lot of designers right now are just showing the bare minimum, and they're not making themselves unique, and they're not showing their true worth as a designer. If you guys did like this video and liked my story, I encourage you to share it with others. Please give it a thumbs up. Again, I'll be leaving our graphic design community invite link in the description below. That's all from me, guys. Thank you for watching. Until then, check out these next 2 videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.